Here's why you play Ruby, the little red hood in the EXP lane. First off, she can disrupt enemy front lines with her multiple crowd control abilities, making it difficult for enemies to engage or escape. She has excellent sustainability thanks to her passive, which grants high spell vamp and bonus defenses after casting skills. Ruby also excels in team fights as her skills are AoE, allowing her to control multiple enemies at once. However, she's weak in the early game and reliant on spell vamp to survive, making her vulnerable if she falls behind. Ruby's passive ability, Let's Dance, starts with her built-in spell vamp, and her skills have an enhanced spell vamp effect, but her basic attacks do not trigger lifesteal. After using a skill, Ruby dashes in a chosen direction and gains bonus physical and magic defense for a few seconds, stacking up to 3 times. This passive gives Ruby high sustain and mobility, allowing her to reposition quickly during fights. Ruby's first skill, Be Good, swings her scythe forward, dealing physical damage to enemies' hits. She then unleashes a shockwave in the same direction, dealing another round of physical damage and slowing enemies. This skill is great for poking enemies, slowing them down for better engages, or triggering her passive dash for mobility. Ruby's second skill, Don't Run, Wolf King, swings her scythe in a circular motion twice, dealing physical damage with each swing and stunning enemies while pulling them slightly towards her. This is one of her best skills for crowd control, allowing her to lock down enemies and set up combos. Ruby's ultimate ability, I'm Offended, sweeps her scythe in the target direction, pulling all enemies hit towards her while dealing massive physical damage and stunning them. This skill is crucial in team fights as it can disrupt enemy formations and set up follow-up damage from your team. A typical skill combo for Ruby is to start with her first skill to slow enemies, then use her second skill to stun and pull them in, followed up by her ultimate to fully control the fight and reposition using her passive dash. Moving on to builds, I usually build Tough Boots, War Axe, Blood Wings, Oracle, Antique Cuirass, and finally Blade of Despair. These are the emblems that go along with this build. As for battle spells, the best battle spells for Ruby in my opinion are Flicker, Execute, or Vengeance depending on your playstyle. Flicker helps her reposition and engage better. It also combos with her ultimate, allowing you to extend the range of the pool. Execute adds finishing power, while Vengeance improves her survivability in fights. Ruby is strong against fighter heroes with high burst damage such as Elders and Guinevere, thanks to her excellent sustain from spell vamp and defense boosts. She can survive their burst and turn fights in her favor. However, Ruby is weak against marksman heroes with high mobility like 1-1 and Irithel, as these heroes can easily dodge her second skill and ultimate, making it difficult for her to lock them down. You should upgrade the first skill at level 1, then prioritize upgrading the first skill as the main damage source, with the second skill as backup. Upgrade the ultimate whenever available. Ruby is at her best when she's in the middle of her fights, constantly disrupting enemies and healing with her spell vamp. Always use her passive dash to reposition after casting skills, making her harder to hit while maintaining pressure. Her second skill is great for setting up plays, so use it wisely to catch enemies off guard. In team fights, try to group multiple enemies with her ultimate for maximum impact. Since Ruby is cooldown dependent, building items with cooldown reduction may allow her to spam her crowd control more frequently, though I do not recommend cooldown reduction items. Avoid fighting alone against heroes who deal true damage, as they can bypass her sustain. Instead, look for fights where you can pull multiple enemies and turn the tide in your team's favor.